Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build good? Will it better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? When we pay it forward, it will be returned. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build good? Will it better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? When we pay it forward, it will be returned. When we pay it forward, it will be returned.
There you go, Mike. That's your road.
Right. One more time from the top. Oh, I cannot tell you how much joy that brought seeing Steve's face while that played.
Typing up my resignation letter right now.
Oh man. All right. Well, welcome everybody to the Rotary Club of San Dimas. Thank you, Raymond, for pulling that up. That really brightened my day. I'm Mike Wallace. I'm the president of the club, also president of Better Home Financial, a mortgage brokerage here in San Dimas. And let's go around the room to the spokes of the wheel, the people who make everything happen. Starting with our Zoom master extraordinaire, Raymond Foster.
Hi, everybody. Raymond Foster, past president, executive secretary, and Zoom master.
Thank you, Raymond. Rita Karasek McGee, please introduce yourself.
You know, you can't mispronounce my last name with making me listen to a song first. Rita McGee, local estate planning attorney here in San Dimas.
Welcome. Thanks for being here. Steve Scott, the most angry man on the Zoom.
Yeah, probably accurate. My name's Steve Scott, also a past president, current secretary, and I am a State Farm agent in San Dimas.
Thank you, Steve. Mr. Glenn Johnson.
My name is Glenn Johnson. I'm a member of the Satellite Rotary Club of Military Family Support.
Thank you, Glenn. And Miss Marilyn Sparks, Mrs. Marilyn Sparks. I apologize.
My name is Marilyn Sparks. I'm a local farmers insurance agent and Los Angeles County Insurance Commissioner.
Welcome, Marilyn. Dorn Barnes, you're up.
Yeah, hi, Dorn Barnes with Foothill Transit. Good to see y'all.
Excellent. Thank you, Dorn. And our newest Rotarian, welcome, Nick McGee.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you, sir. My name is Nick McGee. In the daytime, I manage accounting and human resources, but my most important role is as husband of a local estate planning attorney.
Welcome. It's important to prioritize roles and know the importance.
I'm learning.
Yeah. And we may have additional Rotarians join in, some stragglers. If we do, we'll allow them to introduce themselves at the end of our presentation. But we do have an excellent speaker today on thinking in the age of artificial intelligence, a topic that is top of mind for just about every industry and should be top of mind for just about every person, certainly everyone of working age or professionals. So welcome, Prashant. Please introduce yourself and get right into it.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. Good afternoon. I'm Prashant. I'm a speaker, writer, and consultant based in San Diego. And let me just go ahead and jump right in and start sharing here.
Excellent.
So thank you. Thanks again. I hope you can see my screen okay.
We can, yeah.
Awesome. So thanks for that intro. Here's what I plan to cover today. I'll spend the next 20 minutes doing an overview of neural networks, touch on the algorithmic specifications of AI, and talk about ChatGPT's backend architecture. And then we can move on to questions. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm not that sinister. But I get it. The mere mention of AI can stir up strong reactions. There's always these two camps, the true believers and the total skeptics, right? I myself am somewhere in the middle because we no one really knows exactly how this thing will evolve. I've spent several years in the tech industry, building, launching, marketing products and services across hardware and software, including AI. And I always found myself asking one question. Are all these products, is all this technology really making us smarter, or we just getting intellectually lazier? And the pursuit of an answer to that question led me to explore this intersection of AI, creativity, business, and the human mind, which is what my upcoming book talks about. So, this afternoon, I'm not here to teach you a bunch of AI productivity hacks or demo tools or talk about the tech. I'd like to focus on how AI can elevate and augment our lives, how it can be not just a tool, but a creative sparring partner for every one of you. And ultimately, my focus isn't really AI, it's to address how we can all think differently, unconventionally, and work more effectively, right? Because that's what matters. And it's something that's at the core of my platform and something I believe will be one of the most crucial things in the future. All right, so with that, let's have some fun. And if you were to, input a prompt like this on your AI chatbot of choice, what do you think you'll get? And feel free to try this out now or later, and you can change a few words, maybe swap Netflix for Hulu, or say something like trailer script for a podcast or a TED talk, but keeping the spirit mostly the same. What do you think you'll get? You're probably thinking something random and weird and funny. Yes, you definitely all those things. But this exercise actually demonstrates something else. When AI offers you an unexpected idea, it pushes you to think differently. But you need to push and provoke it to help you think differently. With a prompt like this, you're looking for new metaphors, surprising angles, and richer storytelling frames. When you change the genre or context, you change how data is interpreted, and that's a gold mine for creative ideas. So I'll come back to this in a second, but and if you're still on your AI apps, you can continue or you can listen to my story because I want to delve into a story that will probably help you change how you think about thinking with AI. So back in 2016 in Seoul, South Korea, there was a five-match tournament of Go. Anyone heard of Go or played it? This is what a Go board looks like. It's a strategy board game. It's been around for about 2,500 years or so. Originated in Asia, and the game is extremely complex. It has more board combinations possible than atoms in the observable universe. It makes chess look like child's play. So yeah, so playing on one side of the on tournament is a guy named Lee Sedol. He's a world champion at the top of his game, basically the LeBron James of Go at the time. And on the other side is a computer, a program called AlphaGo, NAI, basically. So, long story short, AlphaGo, the AI, beats the human champion Lee Sedol 4-1, a thumping defeat. In one famous moment, it played a move so bizarre that commentators called it a mistake. Lee Sedol stared at the board absolutely bamboozled. So here's what happened. So in this game, there were certain patterns and traditions, unwritten rules, if you will, that players had been following and respecting for centuries. But this AI comes along and shatters all of them in one fell swoop because it was programmed for one thing and one thing only, to win, right? It didn't care about traditions and patterns. And here's the part I love the most. Seeing the machine play the way it did, watching it break molds, forced a change in the playing style and strategy of the human champion, Lee Sedol. And the final score was still 4-1. After the tournament, he actually confessed that playing with AlphaGo was a transformational experience, one that made him think of the game differently and changed his outlook on everything. He said, "We think we're creative. Nah, we're just conventional. The machine was the one being truly creative." And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my core message here. If AI can crack open a 2,500-year-old game, what could it do for the way you think about your life in your business, your community, your Rotary, right? About membership, fundraising, or something you've been running the same way for several years. That's the shift I want you to make today. This isn't about humans versus machines. It's about machines. It's about using machines to break through our own mental barriers. Now, what mental barriers? I don't have any, Prashant. You might be thinking. Okay, let's talk about them. When creating or designing something, for example, we tend to default to what we know. And I know I've worked in product management. We think familiar features, behaviors, patterns, experiences, personal context, right? Your brain's pattern recognition system loves the familiar. This unique phenomenon actually has a name. It's called design fixation. It's one of the several biases in our creative thinking. Here's another one. When I say the word paperclip, what action or use case do you imagine? Probably, I can't see the chat, but you're probably imagining fastening papers, right? Not picking a lock or resetting a Wi-Fi router or building a mini satellite antenna. Even though those are legitimate use cases for that object, we struggle to imagine alternative functions for familiar things. That's another bias called functional fixedness. Now, in short, our brain loves shortcuts. It sticks to what it knows and what's worked before. And we battle an army of these invisible biases in our head, limiting our creativity on a daily basis. And by this point, I think you know what I'm going to say next. AI can help you overcome them. And if you're a Rotarian, you've probably been in a meeting where someone says, "Oh, we need younger members to join," and the solution is what? Better social media, website overhaul, maybe a happy hour. That's an example of fixation. You're solving for visibility when maybe the real problem is relevance or entry points, right? So, but AI won't automatically solve this, but it'll ask the questions that you're not asking. Now, like every new technology, it comes with the warning label, and I see it as my duty to address that as well. So, some researchers at MIT ran a study where they compared students who wrote essays fully with and without AI. And the fully AI written essays, they were technically perfect, had great information, they were structurally sound, and in their own words, they were also soulless. They read like a committee report written by a very polite robot. And what's worse, 80% of the students who used AI couldn't remember a single sentence they'd written. And 80% of the students who didn't use AI could actually quote themselves. Now, that is cognitive offloading. It, it amounts to fully outsourcing your thinking, and that's the trap we must be careful of. So, this reinforces the rule I was alluding to before. Think with AI, don't let it think for you. So do the hard work of ideation and creation, wrestle with an idea, get uncomfortable, especially where human touch matters. Don't let AI completely take over. Bring it in to push your ideas, get new perspectives, get out of the box, and use it as a sparring partner, but not as a ghost replacement. That nuance is very critical because the human part, the part that struggles and imagines and connects, that still matters. And we don't want to also flood the zone with purely bot content. That won't be cool. So I wanted to put that out there. That ends my PSA. And on that note, let me show you how to actually prompt in a way that lets you preserve your humanness and cognitive agency while using AI to think, create, brainstorm, and have fun with it. And let's do that for Rotary, for your club. Here's an example. So a Rotary club in Portland, Oregon had they were running these an after school reading program. They were doing it for years. It was a good program, had steady attendance, but they weren't reaching the kids who needed it the most, the ones that thought reading was boring. So instead of asking AI, how do we improve our literacy program, they asked something like this. Design a literacy program as if Dolly Parton and a video game designer collaborated. Now, what came back wasn't just cute. It included something called a book boss battle reading challenge. They formed reading guilds. It recommended ridiculous titles like Chapter Champion and Plot Twist Survivor. And the club actually adapted some of these ideas, ran it for a few months, and got twice the youth engagement from the previous several years. Not because AI did some magic, but because it gave them permission to be playful in a space where they'd been serious for decades. It basically showed them how to gamify this. It also reminded them of the thing that they'd forgotten, perhaps, that kids don't join reading programs. They join adventures. They want games, right? Lee Sedol realized that when AlphaGo played that impossible move, it wasn't about the move itself. It was about seeing the entire board differently. So AI can show us the moves we'd never consider because we're too close to the game. Now, sticking with Rotary, let's talk about membership and specifically making your message resonate with people to get them interested. Now, let me show you something. So here's what you probably a traditional Rotary description sounds like. And you can read it. It's very professional sounding, very accurate, but also sounds like a LinkedIn profile written by a committee. Now, if I were to say, if I were to ask AI to rewrite this for someone that's never heard of Rotary but loves to binge watch Ted Lasso, what would that sound like? Now, I'm not saying you should use this word for word, but buried in this ridiculous rewrite is something that sticks out. If you look at the second to last line, it says, actually fix things instead of just complaining about them. That phrase would make a millennial like me sit up and pay attention because that's rare. You don't even see that in corporate often. So AI gives these little nuggets, these crumbs for us to work with, and that's what's so cool about it. Okay, let's do one more. Now, Rotary obviously does amazing work, life-changing work, but sometimes our stories can sound like reports. And this is also true in corporate and business and other areas. Here's what I mean. Let's say your club built wells in El Salvador last year. Beautiful work, life-changing stuff. But when you reported that back to the community, you said something like this. Project completed, 450 people now have clean water, budget 12,000, timeline 6 months. It's accurate, it's true, it's forgettable. Now, I asked AI to tell the story from the point of view of the 8-year-old girl who doesn't have to walk 2 miles before school anymore, and this is what it came back with. Now, again, you don't have to use the exact wording or the final story, but reading this reminded me of something. We're not we're not in the well building business. We're in the childhood reclaim business. We're in the futures unlocked business, right? So this helps us connect with audiences that crave stories that reach directly here, and everyone wants that. So these creative AI prompts, and I call them provocations, that's my proprietary term, they don't replace your authenticity. They don't replace you or your story, but they help you amplify it and look at it through different lenses. And you can use this for Rotary, for your work, for your business, anything. So here's my dare or my challenge to you. Before your next meeting, ask AI one ridiculous question about something Rotary does, maybe a project you're working on or something that's in the works already. So let's say if it's fundraising, for example, don't say how do we improve our fundraiser. You could say, what if we approach this fundraiser like Burning Man? I don't know. Try something crazy. And you might get 95% nonsense. You know, the bots are not perfect, they still hallucinate. But that 5% that might you might find something there that absolutely changes the game. So take that, refine it, remix it, and repurpose it for what you're trying to accomplish. Okay, so let me start in the interest of time. Let me start wrapping up here. So now AI is this behemoth, and I know there's a lot of naysayers out there, folks, still on the fence, and it can feel scary. It can feel confusing, even morally questionable at times. I get it, and it's evolving at such a rapid pace that it's hard to keep up. But let's take it one day at a time, yeah? You don't have to be married to it. You don't need it to think for you. But what you need is a willingness to experiment. And it's ultimately about what I said at the beginning, thinking differently, getting out of your own mental box. Because if you treat AI not as an enemy, but as a creative companion, one that provokes, plays, and pushes, you might just surprise yourself. And whatever we end up doing, we'll be working alongside it in the future. That is for certain. So the genie is not going back in the bottle. So bring your human ingenuity, but leverage this intelligent digital being where appropriate to offer direction, inspiration, assistance, make something, solve something, and imagine something that hasn't been imagined before. That is the future that I envision. No, Lee Sedol said after losing to AlphaGo, he said, I'm glad I learned to play Go. He said, I'm glad I learned to play Go because I got to sit here and play this tournament. The man had an almost spiritual awakening playing with that machine. It changed his life forever. Now, we may or may not experience something so profound, but if a Go champion can walk away from a lost to a machine with awe and growth, I think we can all elevate our lives just a little bit with artificial intelligence. And if you want more, if you want to see what thinking differently looks like in practice, I have a list of provocations for your club. I'll send that over. It's yours. I also share creative ideas, thinking and AI frameworks, etc. on my free newsletter. So feel free to subscribe and get in touch. And yeah, thanks for listening. I think we'll open up for questions here.
All right. Thank you very much. That was a very informative presentation. I'll open it up for questions. I see a hand. Raymond, you want to start us off?
So we are, Prashant, we're wildly successful for our size for fundraising. I mean, wildly successful.
Okay.
And here's why. And nobody knows this except me, and I'm gonna cop out. We send out fundraising letters to a variety of organizations for these things that we do, but before we send them out, we put the letter into AI and we say tailor this letter for, and then we put the website in. and then it writes it in the language. It rewrites our thoughts in the language of the people we're addressing. And generally now, what I've created is a scoring. I've worked with it to create a scoring, and I have the four factors I'm interested in scoring and compelled to act, et cetera, based on what we have, and we run it through that till we get a really good high score. And so you're absolutely right. I'm thinking of AI as I bring the EQ and it
Mm,
brings the IQ, and then it and I
yeah.
work together. But we are wildly successful. And it's because we changed the fundraising letter because people from the American Legion get it and it uses their language, and people the VFW get it and it uses their language, and the Odd Fellows get it and it uses their language, and they recognize those values because we've simply changed it to reflect them. So if I was writing
Yeah,
sales,
I love that. And I love the line. You bring the EQ and it brings the IQ. I think that's a great way to put it because yeah, it has this plethora of information, the data and everything it's being trained on, right? But it what it lacks is the human aspect, the emotions, the sentiment behind what you're trying to communicate or even ideate on, right? So yeah, I think that's the way you describe it, and it sounds like it's working for you. That's a great way to collaborate and co-create with the machine. So that's awesome.
the other thing I think that is helpful is to in the project file to upload real documents. That so and then have it work within the parameters
Hmm.
of the bylaws or parameters of our mission statement or parameters of whatever, or even the history, or certain books I wanted to use that's available. That way, it doesn't, as you said, it goes out and you have to ask it, is this actual and verifiable? And then it'll say, well, no, I kind of made that up. Because it does. I like the thing that you said it hallucinates, and it does.
It does quite a bit. Yeah, and that's why I think human intervention is important. We again going back to what I said earlier, we shouldn't completely outsource stuff to AI. That's where we get into this dangerous territory, and we should avoid that. But
So
yeah, when it comes to like customizing things, like you said, to a certain tone or a certain style, it's pretty good at that.
I have one more question just to get your take on it. They ran a series of experiments with AI where they created a false company with like several hundred emails, and they put the AI agent in charge of the emails. And
Hmm.
insulted in the emails was an affair being conducted by a senior program manager and a and another employee. And then they put into the thing that the AI was going to be shut down in 48 hours. Within an hour and a half, it was blackmailing the programmer. I will
Wow.
disclose your affair if I get before you shut me down. Um,
Did this really happen? Wait, I haven't heard of this. I have to look it up.
Or is Raymond hallucinating?
It
I
could
just
it could just be a story that's out there that's not accurate.
well,
That could be
it may
true.
well be, but it raises the question is giving it access to all of our proprietary data.
Mm.
What on the backside do we risk?
Yeah. And I think that's one of the areas that we've still not figured out, right? Because now they're talking about AI agents that basically they will accomplish a task entirely end to end without any human intervention, right? And that's where you get into dicey territory because if it does something that's illegal or not stuff like this, ethical even, there is no one to police it, and I don't think those systems and guardrails are in place yet to stop that from happening. And that's where the evolution still needs to happen around how much we can start depending on AI to how much automation is okay, I guess, is one way to look at it. So yeah, at the stage we're in now, we still need humans to 100% be part of the process. But once we go further, we need to have all these conversations on, okay, where do we draw the line on what AI can and cannot or should not do?
Ah,
But yeah, that would be it's a whole day's worth of discussion there, just that topic.
the AI system resorts to blackmail is a BBC article from May 23rd of 2025 talking about Claude Opus 4. But
Interesting.
it raises all kinds of ethical questions.
Yeah, yeah.
That was
So,
on 60 Minutes recently.
There you go.
so
BBC. I'll have to look that up, but yeah, thanks for letting me know.
the ethical and legal question, obviously you see stories about attorneys using AIs to write all sorts of motions with half the case law, just they're just making case law up. The
Mm,
first attorney that did it made headlines last year. I think he was fined like $10,000. There's a new one that I just read today, and they did fine her about $1,000, but she argued that she inadvertently forgot to check the work. And the fact that attorneys aren't getting disbarred or having their license at least suspended for 30 days, 60 days, where, any sort of, unethical thing that you do, you lose your license for 30 days, right? You have this
mm,
whole, you're required to stand in front of the jury where they grant you your license back. The fact that this is not happening with AI is just a little bit mind-blowing because these attorneys are
yeah,
citing cases that have never, ever happened.
yeah.
I know that AI is no longer allowed to give legal or medical advice, but it's already out there, So
I think we just haven't figured out how to deal with these issues, right?
yeah,
These breaches of ethical conduct. I think
yeah,
those rules are still not written. So the more
right.
this happens, yeah, those guardrails need to be put in place to stop this for any profession, right? Not just law, but anywhere this
Yeah.
Check your
would
work.
be applicable.
Yeah, that's where I have an issue is when do we start holding people accountable, right? But
Hmm.
on the other hand, AI has been an incredible tool, right? Saves my clients thousands of dollars because now I don't have to start with just a random format of a letter. Does the format for me and I plug in everything I need. So
Yeah.
we went from 3 hours of work to 30 minutes of work. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
balancing game, I think.
There's two I think of two ways of using AI. One is like you described, like for productivity, for automating stuff where, it saves you time, it speeds things up, it helps you be more accurate, stuff that you probably don't want to do yourself anyway. And then there's what I call provocation thinking with AI. That includes like brainstorming, ideation, building something, coming up with something new, creation. That's a second way of using it. Then that's where that's human first, and then using AI for assistance. And that's mostly what I talked about today. But for the productivity part, yeah, it works like a charm. I think you can just depend on it, bank on it to do all your work fast,
One,
easily, cheaply. Yeah.
So I have one question, and normally I would ask this. I would ask you, what is the landscape going to look like in 10 years? But I would just ask for 12 months. You as a professional, 12 months from
I
now,
I
what
don't
what,
know.
what are we going to be asking?
Like I said, I'm in the middle because I don't know. I don't think anyone knows, right? Two years ago, no one knew what ChatGPT was, and now it's like part of everyone's workflow, everyone's process, right? And it's almost for many people something you can't live without, right? So 12 months from now, I don't know what it'll be like. I mean, maybe agents will be out there doing their thing already. uh, I don't know how many laws will be broken, how much unethical stuff would have happened. But it's just evolving so quickly that it's hard to predict. So I'm not gonna bet on anything right now, and just we'll just see how things go.
Very good.
Yeah. Yeah, a couple things. I really value that presentation. It kind of made me think of different ways that I could use AI that had not crossed my mind. You mentioned using it sort of as a sparring partner. I could put in, you know, my blog or my
Mhm.
industry information that I'm putting on my website or my social media and ask, what is an alternative view of this, or what are the what's the case against what I'm the information that I'm putting out, and almost kind of test how accurate or potentially biased my own views are. So I'd never thought of using it in that way, and that I think could be very valuable. The counterpoint to what I'm information that I'm disseminating. And then the other thing that you touched on, just how little retention of knowledge there was when people
Mm.
were using AI.
Yep.
I have a friend who is a law professor at Claremont Graduate University, and he is he uses AI for formatting and summarizing his notes and things like that. But he is extremely concerned about his students using it and not learning what they're supposed to be learning.
Prime example, Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, there you go.
Like who admits this stuff? You know? You can't, unfortunately, in California, you're not passing the bar with the help of ChatGPT. Let's just be realistic. You know what I
Like, I think because it was Kim Kardashian, she shared that publicly. Others wouldn't do that. So I
mean?
think it's good. We should thank her for stating that.
Rita, what you
Be-
said sounds very, very, you won't have ChatGPT, but I remember in calculus in high school, the instructor saying, you're not going to have a calculator to work this out. You have to work it out on your own head.
Mm.
Okay, we all have the calculator to do everything we want with us now. So he was wrong. He was dead wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember we were forced to use the log tables,
Yes.
and never touched a log table in my life since college. So
Ironically, you're not always going to have a log table with you, but you will have
awesome.
a calculator.
That's true.
You will have your phone now.
Yeah.
There's more power in my phone and my one phone than the entire Apollo 11 mission combined. So
Yeah. Yeah. Unbelievable. All right. Any other questions? All right. Not seeing any. Thank you very much. That was eye-opening and a wonderful presentation. If you don't mind, could you drop your contact information into the chat? And feel free
yes.
to hang out. We're going to continue with a little bit of business, Rotary business. You can stay or you could log off. It's entirely up to you.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for having me. This was great.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And let us know when the book comes out.
In fact, contacts about coming back on
I'll maybe quickly pull my contact details one more time so it's on the screen. And yes, I'll also put it in chat.
Excellent.
If you prefer that. Alrighty.
Thank you. Raymond,
Thank
what were
you.
you saying?
I was going to invite him back once the book is published. We'd love to have him come back and talk specifically about the book. I think it'd be fascinating. You're more than welcome to come back. And also, once we're done with this, we download this thing and it goes over the television station. Then we drop it into Opus Clips, where AI will break it up into
Shorts.
reels for us. Then we put out reels that direct to the. So yeah, AI.
You're serious?
Yeah, AI
You
is
actually
great.
do that?
Oh yeah, everybody here's seen our reels. We just dropped some from a Marine Corps
Oh,
dinner. Yeah, we
wow.
AI. We're very integrated with.
That's so meta.
Yeah,
That's cool though.
there you go. Anyway, that's it.
All right.
All right.
All
Thanks.
right. Thank you very much. Vine Master, Rita. The second you get busy or put a piece of food in your mouth, you know you're going to get called on in this Rotary Club.
Story of my life. Okay.
Same.
No one complained about the last time I said this. So, um, if you feel, well, not if you feel. So let's do this. Find yourself if there's something you want to tell us about what you're winning in life, and which means you can afford it. The bad is because we want to keep you humble. And three, ugly, because you did that and we had to sit through it. So if you have any of those stories you wish to share with us, please find yourself.
I'm going to start us off. I'm going to find myself $20 for the good because of how ugly it was for Steve to sit through that song at the beginning. And I apologize, Steve, but it really made my day watching your face as you had to sit through that.
Happy that my misery makes you so happy, Mike.
Uh,
Uh,
that's all I got.
I'm gonna find myself $20 because while my husband was taking a nap for his lunch, our son's coach called and says that Vinny has made the national team officially, and we're going to Texas. So, by the way, you still have to call him back because there's a whole bunch of other things, but that's the good. Also
Good.
taking donations for a trip to Texas. I'm just letting you know.
I heard we fundraise really, really well for a group of this size. I'm just saying.
That's awesome.
Get on ChatGPT and formulate an email.
Cool.
I'm going to find myself $20. A friend of mine, he and his wife have a military family charity organization. They do a fundraiser every year. For the first time in my life, I won a raffle.
Wow.
I won an e-bike, which there is no way in hell I was ever going to get on. So I donated it back to the charity, and now they're going to live auction it. But it was cool to win and cool to have a similar charity to some of the stuff that we do make some money. So it was fun to be part of.
Excellent.
I'm
Marilyn.
going to find myself $20 because in 11 days, I will have been in my new office for 9 months, and I've yet to put anything on the walls. So as you can see behind me, I started plotting it out.
I thought that was some nouveau artwork you had going on there.
Banksy-ish.
Exactly.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I have been out of my office and in my home office for just over 3 years now. And I just finished putting everything up on the wall about 2 months ago.
Thank you.
That's an extra 20 for you, Mike.
Yeah, all right. Fair enough.
For bragging.
Anybody else?
I'll jump in. $20. The Women's Transportation Seminar is a group that lifts up women and members of communities that have been traditionally underrepresented in the transit space. The LA chapter held their awards banquet here a week and a half ago, and Foothill Transit was named the Employer of the Year. So really,
That's
really proud
awesome,
of
Dora.
what we're doing to lift people up. So yeah.
Thank you. Well, I'll be the last one. I'm only gonna do it $5. One of my books, the last one published, or no, the second last one published got the first rating on Amazon, and it was 5 stars. And so that's always nice. You're holding your breath for all the morons to chip in. If you look back in one of my oldest book on there, it's got about 500 ratings. Somebody rated that the used book, they got a 1 star because the used book they got was in bad condition. I don't know what that has to do with me, but I was relieved to get the 5.
Very cool.
Yes. The power of group ratings are very interesting, particularly around Amazon and Yelp. I always say I want like a 3.5 star barbecue place better than a 5 star, because the 3.5 is going to be weighted down by a whole bunch of ones of people who are just angry that they were out of the brisket. All right. Okay, let's move on to Action 360, U.S. Marine Corps dinner. Raymond, do you want to do a recap?
Like I gave the final recap at the
Okay.
board meeting. I will tell you that we made. Let me get to that page. We made really. That was a great night. I got nothing but compliments. We will do a full debrief at the end of the month. The good, the bad, and the ugly. That's how we improve. So if you've got ideas from the smallest idea to the largest, I will tell you, our total income was $18,084. I just received another sponsorship, so I'm returning the check because it's too late. And the expenses were $17,335. That includes the 5,000 we transferred to Making Spirits Bright. We received an additional $6,000 in those donation letters for making those donation cards for Making Spirits Bright off the floor. So that was fabulous. I thought the dinner went well, and we will debrief it.
Excellent.
I'm sorry.
What?
So the income was 18, but the expenses were 17?
Yeah, the 17 includes the $5,000 donation to Making Spirits Bright.
Okay.
So that would mean the expenses to run it were $12,335.
Would it be possible to reach back out to that sponsor and ask if they'd like us to keep that as a sponsorship for next year's dinner? Or do you think it's best just to give it back and say, we'll contact you next year?
I've already put it in the mail back to them with a copy of the program, and I explained they came in too late, but we have a food drive coming up X, Y, and Z. It's a Masonic Lodge up in Redlands. I think they'll turn the check around to us and send it back.
Okay.
But it says on it copper sponsorship, so we have to honor that, I think.
Sure. Yeah. No, that sounds good. Okay, moving down to Ryla. Steve, do you want to jump in there, or do you want me to take it?
I'll jump in. I mean, it's totally up to you, Mike. If you want to, you can. So one of the updates is we ended up with 8 applicants. We got 2 the Friday of the deadline, and then we got another 2 late that night. So the last 4 we got were from San Dimas. So thanks to Anthony Porter for putting in work on that. The 2 people, what we decided to do was the 2 that we paid for, we were going to select from SHAP. I spoke to Sean Casey about that. If we're able to get 2 more in, the next 2 will come from San Dimas. And then we'll kind of go from there. We may get 6, we may get 8, we may only get 2. We don't know that yet. I would imagine with the event coming up really quickly and the deadline being last Friday, we should know within the next 7 days, definitely before Thanksgiving, if we're going to get anybody else. Sean Casey did call me yesterday to tell me that the person that he had selected as an applicant is actually leaving the school. And he's leaving the school right around the time that Ryla goes off. And I said, well, do you think it would be smart to keep him in? Will he get something out of it? And he said, he absolutely will. He said, but the benefit of this is our students then come back and implement some of this stuff that they learned at Ryla on campus. So we changed him to an alternate and took the other boy from Chaparral and made him the attendee. So we definitely have 2, and I'll keep you posted as to how many other people we greenlit for. Yes, Raymond.
The Ryla committee meeting at district is this evening, so we will probably hear back very shortly.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know who Regatta is going to call because I don't even know who's listed as the Ryla chair anymore. It
Sean.
might be Sean.
It's Sean. Well,
It's
Sean
Sean.
got the application email, so it must
Okay.
be him.
I'm going to give him a heads up. I'll send him a text and just say, you may get a phone call. If he does, I really don't, Sean shouldn't be the guy who's selecting the next 2, and he doesn't want to be that guy. So what I'm going to ask him to do is just have Regatta either reach out to you, Mike, or me.
Yeah, that's good. I spoke with Sean Casey this morning. I went to Shap and I gave him the $120 gift card for Golden State Water's Operation Gobble. He is going to use that to actually buy physical turkeys and Thanksgiving food to then give away at Shap this week to
Awesome.
students and families in need. Also, I let him know because Sean Casey sent me an email saying the RILA students from last year who were juniors were told that they were invited back as counselors, camp counselors this year if they wanted to return. And he asked how we can make that happen. And so I asked him to reach out to Regatta. He said he has all of her contact information and they have had communication in the past. So he's going to reach out to her today. I don't know the results of that, if he's reached out yet or where that went. But I said, if he needs anything else from the club to get those students into the camp counseling program, then just don't hesitate to ask and I'll do whatever we can. I think that's it on RILA. I do think that there are going to be clubs who paid for spots who did not get applications in on time. I haven't heard anything about extending the deadline like they have in past years, but it is coming up very fast. And with the confusion over swapping the timing of RILA and TLC, I can almost guarantee that there's going to be some clubs that forfeit some spots.
Agreed.
Okay. Vet gift cards via Red Robin. Raymond, is that you?
Yeah, we still have the project all of November. There are 11 Red Robins are selling gift cards for military veterans. Last year we only had one and we got $2,200 in gift cards. I imagine we're going to get well, if it gets 11 times 22, I don't know. I know they're marketing it hard. Spoken to the chaplain at the Veterans Center at Loma Linda Hospital out there for those to be disabled veterans, and then hope they're housing the veterans in Pomona, and then the military bases. These veterans cards can be given out to active duty personnel. So we'll have some decisions to make in early December. We'll know the number and then how we're going to divvy these up and what kind of splash we want to make with this.
Great. All right. Thank you, Raymond.
Mm-hmm.
Moving right along, the calendar.
Well, I don't have it up. Oh, did we talk about teacher mini grants?
Steve, do you want to jump in there?
I actually was doing the count. We sent out the applications and letters on Monday. Sent them to Holy Name, all the schools in BUSD, and then Raymond sent it to McKinley. I don't know how many years I've been doing this now, but we've never received this many applications this quickly. Teachers notoriously like to wait until that last week to get the applications in, and we have either 6 or 7 applications in already, which is phenomenal. The only downside of that is we're certainly not going to be able to support everybody, and there's going to be some hard decisions that have to be made. Does anybody else remember who besides Rita wanted to be on the committee? Because I can't recall from last week.
I think it was Anthony. No, wait, I don't know.
Yeah, I can't, but Rita and whoever else is on the committee will talk, because one of the things we've done in the past is contacted some of these teachers and said, hey, we'd like to help you. Would you be okay if we split your grant with somebody else, where maybe they get $250 or $300 versus the full $500? So we'll kind of go through that as we move forward. I will send you all of the grants at once. And then I'll just ask you to review them and rate them 1 through however many we get. We'll have the other committee member do the same thing, and then we'll just kind of talk our way through it to select the recipients.
Sounds good. That's how we've historically done it, and I think it works well. And it's it always surprises me that seems to be very little disagreement. Everyone usually seems to be on the same page.
Yep.
Okay. I don't believe we need to do the four-way test unless we sing it.
Do you see the calendar up there? Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, the only meeting we have left is December 3rd, and everybody mark your calendar. The 18th will be at Origins downtown, and that is our club meal, which the club provides. So, and that's always a very nice event. That's always a nice thing to come to. So I hope I see everybody there.
Is that a Thursday? I'm sorry.
That is.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
No, the third is a Wednesday. Was
No,
that
the
right?
18th.
Oh, I'm sorry, the
Oh.
18th for the social in-person dinner. Okay. Closing remarks. I want to thank Doran Barnes. I had that college professor that I spoke about earlier. He specifically was working on something related to public transportation, and I said, well, you must know Doran Barnes. He's a longtime Rotarian, and he's like, no, actually, I don't. And he's in Claremont, so I know you're active in the Claremont community as well. So, but I reached out to Doran and asked if I could give them an introduction, and he graciously said, oh, absolutely, give them my contact information. I'm happy to help.
Yeah, no, we had a good chat, and I have an invitation now to join or to go to a Claremont Rotary meeting at some point. So I will do that somewhere along the line.
All right. Well, you're welcome, and I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, I think that's all I had. Does anybody have any comments, updates, anything we should know about? No? All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Really good meeting, and I'll see everybody on the 3rd. Have a happy Thanksgiving if I don't see you.
Take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye, guys.